Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We are about to jump right into the wonderfully weird, totally magical world of one of the greatest storytellers ever, Roald Dahl. We're going to break down an incredibly fun section of his amazing book, The Giraffe and the Pelly and Me. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so I want you to think about a very serious, very real situation for a second. What do you do when a giraffe, a monkey, and a pelican get really hungry? I don't mean just, a little bit peckish before lunch. I mean absolutely starving. It's a pretty huge problem, right? Especially when you're a group of highly unusual magical animals trying to start a brand new business together.
So meet our amazing crew. We've got a boy named Billy and his three best animal friends. Together, they've just formed the Ladderless Window Cleaning Company. It's genius, really. The giraffe's super long neck makes the absolute perfect ladder, the monkey is the one who actually rubs the windows clean, and the pelican, or the pelly as they call him, has this giant magical beak that acts as the ultimate bucket. But, well, right now, no one is cleaning any windows. They're all just sitting around, completely distracted, dreaming of their absolute favorite foods.
The thing is, they can't just pop down to the local supermarket to grab a snack. These friends have very specific, very magical diets. The monkey? He's dreaming of fresh walnuts. The pelican is absolutely desperate for some glorious salmon. But the poor giraffe actually has the hardest diet of all. She's a geranious giraffe, meaning she can only eat the pink and purple flowers of the Tinkle Tinkle tree. And trust me, those flowers are super hard to find and incredibly expensive.
Now the pelican is so unbelievably hungry, he actually starts reciting a poem. He literally cries out, "Has anyone seen a stale sardine? Or a bucket of rotten cod? I'd eat the lot upon the spot, I'm such a hungry bod." And what is just so hilarious about this moment is that every single time the pelican speaks, his giant beak, which by the way Billy is currently standing inside of, just jiggles madly up and down. The more excited the pelican gets, the more that giant beak jiggles.
And honestly, the monkey isn't doing much better. He is shouting about how much he wants a walnut fresh off the tree. He even describes the taste of a walnut using one of my absolute favorite Roald Dahl invented words. He calls it scrumptious gallumptuous. He says it's so flavory, savory, and sweet to eat that just thinking about it makes his little monkey legs go all wobbly. Don't you just love that? Scrumptious gallumptuous. It just sounds delicious.
But right at that exact moment of extreme hunger, everything changes. A huge, brilliant white Rolls-Royce pulls up right below their window, and out steps a very serious-looking chauffeur wearing this fancy blue and gold uniform. But what's really interesting is what's in his gloved hand. It's a very official-looking envelope.
Now Billy instantly recognizes this car. He whispers to the animals in total awe that this car belongs to the Duke of Hampshire. The giraffe, who, doesn't really know much about humans, asks who that is. And Billy tells her, he's the richest man in England. Just imagine that. The richest man in the entire country has just sent his personal driver to their brand new, slightly strange window cleaning business.
And the chauffeur? He doesn't even blink when he sees a giant giraffe, a monkey, and a pelican staring down at him. I guess chauffeurs of very rich men are just never surprised by anything. The giraffe politely asks him to read the letter out loud, and it turns out the Duke wrote that he drove by, saw their company notice, and needs their help immediately. He actually says he has been looking for a decent window cleaner for 50 whole years without any luck.
But then, the Duke's letter reveals a totally staggering number, 677. His massive house has 677 windows in it, and that's not even counting the greenhouse. Plus, every single one of them is filthy. This is a giant job. But the animals realize instantly, this has got to be the best window cleaning job in the entire world, because if they can do this, they will have enough money to buy all the salmon, walnuts, and Tinkle Tinkle flowers they could ever possibly want.
We're off to see the Duke, the monkey shouts. And they certainly don't just go wait for a bus. To travel across the English countryside, the giraffe stoops way down low to get out the door, the monkey jumps right onto her back, and the pelican gently takes Billy in his giant beak, flying up to perch right on top of the giraffe's head. Talk about the most unusual, fantastic way to travel.
When they finally arrive, they are absolutely amazed. Hampshire House isn't just a house, it is way bigger than a palace. Billy even mentions the Duke probably has 25 gardeners just for the flower beds. But before they can even think about knocking on the front door, they hear shouting. There's the Duke, an older man with an immense white mustache, and he is angrily pointing his walking stick up at a tall cherry tree.
The Duke is completely furious. He's yelling at his gardener, "Get me those great big black juicy ones right at the very top." See, there's a ladder leaning against the tree, and the poor gardener's really trying his best, but the ladder just isn't long enough to reach the ripest, most delicious cherries all the way up at the very top branches. The Duke is literally stamping his feet, playfully shouting, "Damnation!" because he was so looking forward to eating them.
Okay, now watch how our team springs into action. The pelican whispers to Billy, "Here we go. Let's break down this great cherry rescue." Step 1, with a swish and a swoop, the Pelly flies right up to the very top of that cherry tree. Step 2, Billy, who's still sitting safely inside the beak, quickly picks all the best black cherries. And Step 3, the exact moment Billy has them all, the Pelly swoops right back down and lands directly beside the shouting Duke.
But, of course, this causes absolute chaos. The poor gardener gets such a massive shock seeing this giant bird swoop out of nowhere that he actually falls right off his ladder into the grass. And the Duke? Oh, he totally panics. He starts screaming for his gun, yelling that a damnable monster bird is stealing his best cherries and that he's gonna have the bird for breakfast.
But right then, this really magical little moment happens. Just as the Duke is wildly waving his stick in the air, Billy calmly leans right over the edge of the pelican's giant beak. He just holds out a handful of the perfect ripe fruit and very politely says, "Your cherries, Your Grace."
The Duke is completely staggered. His eyes practically pop right out of his head. "Great Scott!" he gasps. But before he can even start to figure out why in the world a boy is sitting inside a bird's beak, the bushes rustle, and out steps the giant giraffe, with the monkey happily dancing around on her back. The Duke looks like he's actually about to faint. He bellows out, "Has the whole world gone completely dotty?" wondering if everyone around him has just gone completely crazy.
So, to explain themselves, the monkey bursts into a joyful little song to introduce their company. He sings, "We will polish your glass till it's shining like brass, and it sparkles like sun on the sea. We will work for your grace till we're blue in the face, the giraffe and the Pelly and me." And the giraffe gently reminds the completely shocked Duke that, hey, he was the one who sent for them in the first place.
Finally, the truth begins to dawn on the Duke. He takes one of the block cherries Billy handed him, pops it in his mouth, and chews it slowly. And it's absolutely delicious. He looks right at them and says, "I like the way you picked these cherries for me. Could you also pick my apples in the autumn?" The animals are so thrilled, shouting back, "We could, of course we could!"
Now that the Duke is actually impressed by these incredibly helpful creatures, he points his walking stick at Billy and asks who he is. The giraffe proudly speaks up and gives Billy his official title. Billy isn't just a boy, he is the business manager. The giraffe says, "His name is Billy. We go nowhere without him." I just love that so much. They truly are the perfect team. The kindly old Duke just mutters, very well," and invites them all to come along and prove if they are actually any good at cleaning windows. Billy climbs down out of the pelican's beak, and the Duke actually takes Billy by the hand. Together, this wonderful, beautifully strange group walks toward the enormous palace to start their massive job.
And that brings us to the end of today's explainer. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Do you think the ladderless window cleaning company will actually be able to clean all 677 windows? I mean, how on earth are they going to manage a job that unbelievably massive? Well, you'll just have to read the rest of Roald Dahl's incredible book to find out what happens next. Keep learning, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.